Hey guys, it is the Blonde Broker here. We are at ECC in Belgium at the Genzio Media House, and I am joined by the founder of LilyPad, Ali. How are you today?
Hi, I'm great, thank you.
Is
Yeah,
this your first time in Brussels?
it is my first time in Brussels.
What do you
Yes.
think so far of the conference as a whole?
It's been an interesting conference. I think one of the things that I mostly have been focused on is because Lilypad operates in the crypto AI space. A year ago, there were no crypto AI events, and I think it's just been an explosion of events focused on how crypto can help AI and where we're going from there. So I think, and there's some really like talented folks building in this area as well, and building like real things in this area. So that's one of the big things that I've been interested in seeing and following along with at this event. So
We can touch on how crypto is helping AI and shaping the future, but first I want to hear about how you got started in the
yeah,
space and
sure.
then kind of the inspiration behind LilyPad.
Yeah, well, I was not a OG. I didn't start in 2011 with Bitcoin. I actually started in tech really late too. So I'll do a really quick spiel. I came out of doing like a politics and philosophy degree and then actually ended up running a cafe. So I was running a cafe in my 20s. After I sold that, I went back to uni, as we call it in Australia, college in America and studied mechatronics engineering and computer science and was deeply involved in both of those. Ran societies and was, also very passionate about the innovation scene there. So we helped put on like some of Australia's biggest hackathons while I was there. Yeah, so we met some really great people doing that work as well. I had a startup with a business partner as well. We went through an accelerator. He ended up not wanting to take outside of funding, and I didn't really want to bootstrap for years at a time at that point in my life. So we decided to fold that. Learned a lot through that experience though, and then I went into the corporate world. So I worked on projects for Accenture, doing code on an AI ops project and implementing that into some of their like Fortune 500 clients. And then worked on a project with the University of Sydney Physics Lab and our Australian Air Force. We were working on IoT sensors and adding AI and ML to those IoT sensors. I was building out some of the front ends to handle those kind of cutting edge items that they were putting together there, which was really fascinating. Then an old friend that I'd met through hackathon days and accelerated days called me up and said, Ali, I've got a great job. You have to come and work at IBM with me. So I went and worked at IBM for a while and went and was working across, I was kind of working in pre-sales across the full suite of products that IBM had. So that included cloud, that included blockchain, that included AI. And that was kind of where and this was after 2017, but this is where I kind of saw just the power of Hyperledger.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started getting involved looking at the, open source blockchain community. And that's where I really fell in love, to be honest. And I think it was really interesting for me at the time because I was hearing IBM had just bought Red Hat, and what that meant was IBM had a strategy for being multi-cloud, no vendor lock-in, all these kind of terms that I was hearing. And I was looking at the blockchain space, and particularly at Filecoin and Protocol Labs at the time, and going, well, isn't that what they're doing? But way cheaper.
Yeah, way cheaper.
And fundamentally the right way, like codified the right way as well. So I ended up applying for jobs at Protocol Labs and was working there for the last 2 years as well. So that was my journey into
Yeah.
crypto. Yeah.
It's like a very decorated background. And then everybody knows who IBM is. So
Yes.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then I guess the inspiration behind starting LilyPad.
Yeah, it really started at Protocol Labs. So I was working on the Filecoin virtual machine, doing some of the strategy behind the developer experience for the Filecoin virtual machine, which was their layer one on top of Filecoin. So it was meant to enable storage deals to occur. Really amazing kind of piece of technology. If you can hook in an EVM to get storage deals, like that's, definitely something that is needed and is still getting worked on as well with a different project called IBC, I believe. But after that, I started working on a project called Bakuya, which was still at Protocol Labs, which was a peer-to-peer compute project run by David Aronchik, who was the founder of Kubernetes back in the day, actually, or one of the original leads on Kubernetes. So he was leading this project called Bakuya, and I'd just come over from this EVM project working on, building out these EVM storage primitives, and then Bacalhau enabled all this AI stuff. And I'm just like, we need to connect these two. This has to happen, right? Yes, storage, compute, that's the vision, right? This is the ultimate decentralized web vision. And AI had just started, kind of hitting the mainstream with ChatGPT as well. And I'm like, this is really where we're going. So we did a little POC, connecting an EVM smart contract basically to Bacalhau's peer-to-peer compute network. And people wanted to use it. So I think that's where we started going, well, we need to build this out. We need to build an incentive layer basically on the compute capabilities we have here. And that's what LilyPads come from basically.
And for those that are listening and they might not know, what is the importance of like storage and compute in crypto?
In crypto specifically, look, I think in general, we're trying to build decentralized technologies. We want to be able to bring in the next billion people. And, blockchains are great at doing a few different things. They're great at transparency. They're great at payment rails. But you don't store large items in a block. You don't, especially not on a layer 1 block, maybe some of the like layer 3s.
Kind of clogs it up.
Yeah, maybe some of the scalability we're getting now, it's possible. But even then, you're not going to do a large ML or AI compute job on a blockchain either. But what it does do is gives you guarantees. And what crypto is really, really great at as well is those building out those networks. So you can, build out this decentralized architecture that people can use. And it's fascinating looking at the AI space at the moment because one of the main problems for people wanting to develop AI solutions outside of the big companies is in the compute space. Like you cannot access a GPU, you can't access high-powered GPU clusters. So these are, this is a bottleneck that needs to be solved. And I think crypto is like one of those places that can do that really well and has been working on the primitives to do it.
Aren't we having like a GPU shortage right now?
Yeah. So it's interesting. I don't like to call it a GPU shortage, I think, because the GPU is really everywhere. We've got high-powered compute everywhere, and it's just not being used efficiently. So I think it's a coordination problem, or at least that's how I look at it. But if you do try and get a GPU these days, you're correct. Like at the normal places like at AWS or a Google or something, you might have to fill out multiple forms. It might take months before they allow you to have one.
Yeah, that makes
even
sense.
even if you can get one that day, it maybe isn't for long, and it's quite expensive. So it really is hindering any kind of startup abilities around AI to come out. And the people on the ground, these are the innovators that have the knowledge, the expertise of what really needs to be solved, right? What they want to solve with AI. It's not the big companies. And I think, it's really hindering the development of AI.
I saw an article that said NVIDIA had used, or I think it was 1 million GPUs for the Las Vegas Sphere. So that's where all the GPUs are.
Wow.
They're powering the Sphere.
Amazing. NVIDIA is really a one-horse race. So that's definitely clear as well. I think Apple and AMD are trying to have a plan for the future. I think, that's a hard thing to solve. But I do think that there are people out there trying to solve the hardware piece. At least, though, we can work on solving the stranglehold that big companies have over, where these GPUs get deployed. Right. I think that's, a big piece to solve. And will have a big impact.
So speaking of future plans, if you could touch on maybe LilyPad's roadmap over the next year, or where you see y'all going in the next 5. I know that's far to look out.
That is a long way to look. So absolutely though. So currently LilyPad has been live on a kind of test net for about a year now, but we've just recently, we raised a pre-seed fund at the beginning of this year and hired most of our team. Just recently launched Incentivized Testnet, which means that we are incentivizing or giving out, we call them LilyBits, point scheme.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you. We're giving out LilyBits for folks to contribute their compute to the network, but there'll also be stages of tasks as we bootstrap this network together. So we're hoping to firstly onboard those GPUs for people to use. Then we're hoping to onboard, people that want to create jobs on our network. So kind of unlike other compute networks, We are a job-based infrastructure.
Okay.
So what that means is you don't just hire a GPU, you have to set up the infrastructure, you run your AI and ML models. Instead, you would go in and go, oh, I want to run a text to video and just get your result, right? So it's on-demand jobs on our network instead of on-demand just compute. Yeah, so the next phase of our incentivized testnet will be having folks build out these models to use on our network, and also they'll be able to monetize those. So we're really hoping to spread value in the economy here as well. They'll be able to add a small fee to their models for other folks to use, and then they'll be able to monetize them, and then hopefully we can integrate with other projects doing amazing things across the space, like doing monetizing of data sets or doing privacy in compute, and be able to kind of offer a full suite of services in collaboration with, we're not going to build all of it. We think there's a lot of great people working in this space. In collaboration with those folks, hopefully we can kind of have this decentralized offering that is just as good as the clouds for folks to use. And I'm hoping that does help kind of usher in the next billion users, so to speak, that don't even know they're using crypto, basically, just using the rails.
Do you guys have any partnerships right now or any that you can talk about?
Not right now. We're just making we have a few people that we're working with. So we're working with Textile Basin on the storage piece at the moment, but other partnerships we're just at the beginning stages. So we're only just recently started.
No, that's exciting.
Yeah. Yes.
And then I saw some community members. Do you guys, is like the frog thing? Is that like?
I guess when you call your project, by the way, okay, the history of Lilypad, yes.
I was like, where are the frogs at?
I know. So this just was accidental, really. But when I first built out like Lilypad V0, and initially we had this really small concept project called Project Frog at Bacuyao, which was just like kind of a mini payment rail versions that we kind of started working on, and then we made it way bigger. So we're like, well, it's not Project Frog anymore, and one of the engineers just renamed it to Lilypad. So we've stuck with that since then. And I actually kind of like it because Lilypads are really all interconnected under the surface.
No,
right?
the logo's cute. I like
the
logo.
Oh, you like the frog? Yeah. And then, I mean, it had to be a frog. What else was it going to be?
Right. No, I love it. And I like community piece of it because then they can be like, yeah, we're building on Lilypad.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess my next question for you is, if you could leave a legacy behind in AI and crypto, what would that be?
I think helping to decentralize this AI piece, opens up a lot of doors. Our head of research, for example, his name's Stanley Bishop. He is incredibly passionate about helping build out decentralized science projects and specifically in the rare disease piece. So he's working with a host of incredibly talented and smart people on trying to but solve rare diseases. So one of the big problems is there's not enough information being shared, there's not enough research being done, particularly on the smaller diseases. But I think even on the bigger diseases, this is going to hold true, right? Or some of the bigger things that affect humanity, like cancer, or we've all probably know someone that's been affected by that. So this is going to hold true. But he's incredibly passionate about, people being able to use compute on demand and have these enclaves of researchers that have data lakes, for example, that can share their knowledge to create these big breakthroughs. And I think if we can help in some way to provide the rails for that job done, really, right? That's amazing. Like, I can't imagine some of the kind of work some of these really fantastic people are going to do and some of the breakthroughs we're going to have if people just have access to this really powerful AI and compute at a price that they can afford as well, and when they need it.
100%.
So yeah, I think that if anything, like being part of that, I would just be thrilled.
No, I like that. That's it's special, and it comes from somewhere deep down, right?
Absolutely.
There's a better meaning to it. So, well, I appreciate it. I think that was such a great interview.
Oh, thank you.
And then travel safe home.
I appreciate it.
Where can we find you? If someone's looking to follow you guys on X or website.
So on X, we're lilypad_tech. If you want to join our Discord, which is mostly where all the action happens, lilypad.team/Discord will get you into that. And otherwise, I'm Developer Alley across most platforms, so you can hit me up.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Hey, what's up? But it's not something Gensio is afraid of. If you want to survive, you got to build a house.
No, we do not understand that we do not have.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Rebecca's Gen Zero Media House.
Oswald, thanks so much for joining us today.